Okay, everybody, we all know that the Lions Vikings game was disappointing. It was difficult, but we're going to talk about it because we are going to get our feelings out there. Okay, I'm sounding weird, but we're going to get our feelings out there. That's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about the disappointments so we can live up to it, we can understand it, and we can set our sights on the rest of the season. I think in this video, we're going to talk about my four most disappointing things, and I'm going to end it with the one that bothered me the most and why. And we're also going to kind of talk about what the expectations are for this team moving forward. So while I know we're all a little bit bummed, I know we're bummed, like, take it easy. It's okay. We're going to give a little dose of reality as well. And I'm going to have another video coming out about that too. But here are some of the things that were the most disappointing because we're going to talk about it. Like I said, we're going to get our feelings out there. The first one, what I just kept noticing when we started the game and throughout the game was just the pile up of injuries. It's the third week, and I understand that it's the NFL. I know that injuries are a part of the game. I understand that that is just the way the NFL goes. But it just seems to be at a different level with the Lions. When I read the injury reports for the Eagles, for the Commanders, and for the Vikings, it doesn't look anything like our injury report. It just doesn't. We just have more injuries. And in this game, we found out Tracy Walker. Now, when it happened, I was worried. I thought maybe it's an Achilles, but I'm like, no way. Third guy with a torn Achilles on the defense within a year? No way. It is. He's out for the season. He tore his Achilles, and that's, the 3-year contract curse, I guess. So that's what happens. Amon-Ra St. Brown, I'm not sure exactly what's going on with him yet. Hutch was playing hurt. Swift was playing hurt, but it sounds like he also hurt his shoulder on top of his ankle. So I think it's a pretty safe bet that he's going to be out next week or a couple weeks, or maybe he should. Maybe they just need to sit him through the bye week. Jackson's out with his finger. Vitai's probably out for the year with that back surgery, and Reynolds with friendly fire. And it's just 7 starters are either playing very injured or they're out. A third of our starting unit is already out, and it's the third game. So I think that was really frustrating for me watching that, knowing that we had the better team, but also knowing that we were just absolutely hampered. So it's like all the injuries are piling up, and we just can't hang on for the victory. I think the next most frustrating thing is exactly what I started alluding to in that one, is that we were wire to wire we were leading the entirety of the game, wire to wire, either tied or leading until the final minute of the game. And not only were we in the lead, but we were up 14-0, and then we were up 24-14. We had a double-digit lead on 2 separate accounts. They flashed that ridiculous graphic that the Vikings hadn't won a game being down double digits 2 times in the same game since like 1979 or something ridiculous like that. And you're like, my goodness. And it's just like they're making up stats to show that the Lions know how to lose in tremendous fashion. And so that was extremely frustrating for me as well. But I have to admit, what was just as frustrating was, especially in the second half, watching Amani Oruwariye get penalty after penalty after penalty after penalty after penalty. And I was reading an article that said he had 5, only 4 were accepted. One was actually declined because he still gave up the reception. But I don't think it was 5. I think it was 6. I think it was 7. Like, I've never seen a player flagged that many times for a version of pass interference, whether it was holding, whether it was illegal contact, whether it was pass interference. I have never seen anything like that. And you have this guy that comes off a good year last year, and you understood that he overachieved last year. Like, we get that. 6 interceptions is probably not what he is, but I thought, like, as a number 2 corner with Okuda stepping up, I didn't think Oruwariye would just start throwing it. And maybe they brought him back too soon. He was hurt last week. Maybe he wasn't physically ready to play. And at corner, you need to be 100%. You need to be firing on all cylinders. Otherwise, it's a big time struggle, especially when he's already not the most explosive, quick twitch athlete in the first place. But man, oh man, those penalties, it's like, be professional. Like, at some point you have to have pride in what you're doing. Stop holding, stop cheating, and play football. Like, play football. And so that was extremely, extremely frustrating. And then the last one, I'm not going to say I'm actually frustrated about, but I hear a lot of you talking about it. So we're just going to talk about it for a second. And that's the coaching decisions with the clock management and then the field goal at the very end of the game. You've gone for it on fourth down 6 or 7 times already, but you choose to kick a field goal. Now, I'm going to be honest. I said the same thing. Well, I was watching with a few guys. We had one guy that said punt, one guy said go for it, one guy said field goal. I was the field goal guy. I hate to admit it. I think that Seibert had already missed from 54, so I thought he was going to make it. Like he had already missed, so he's like, "All right, understand what I did." Worked out the kinks in the net on the sideline, and turns out he made them worse. So I really thought field goal made sense because that's why you kept this guy. That's why you kept him over Riley Patterson because he was the guy that could make the field goal between 50 and 60, and Patterson was not showing that he could do that. Seibert had the leg. So that's why you kept him as your kicker. So that's what you're paying him to do. So let him go and do it. My second decision in that situation would have been to go for it. And my third would have been to take a delay game, get back to about the 39, 40-yard line and try and do a little pooch punt. But it's hard. And then the other one that really bothered me as Minnesota gets a big gain, they're sprinting to get lined up and all that kind of stuff. And we call timeout. And I haven't read the article. There's Campbell explained the coaching decision. I haven't read the article, and I'm sure the coaching decision sounded something like, "Well, if they were going to score, we wanted to give ourselves time to score as well." Um, I get the argument to an extent, except it was first down. They scored on the very next play, and we still didn't have enough time. Look, we get it. This is probably the most depressing video I've done on this channel. It is, except maybe Justin Tucker, but even that was just kind of like, what just happened? So this one was just like, oh my goodness. But I want to end this video with what was my most frustrating thing. And I think the thing that was most frustrating for me was the thing that is unfixable. It is out of our control and there is nothing we can do. And that is the extreme rash of injuries that we had. And tell me if I'm wrong here. But I think in life, I have to accept that I'm not in control. I get that. But it's so hard when you just see injury after injury after injury, and you realize there's nothing we can do. DeAndre Swift has a bad ankle. DeAndre Swift hurt his shoulder, and there's nothing we can do about it. Jamal Williams is our running back. He is our bell cow back going forward. And it was 1 week. We got 1 week of unbelievable DeAndre Swift at full strength, and then we got a week of him still being unbelievable, but only 8 touches or something like that. And then he was hurt. And it's like, man, oh man, he worked out so much in the offseason. You thought if he got his body right and he was working out in a way that it was supposed to, that his body would be able to take a little bit more of a beating this year. And it's not. You have Tracy Walker, who just gave a 3-year, $30 million contract, somewhere in that range. Boom, torn Achilles. It was the same thing that happened to Romeo Okwara. 3 years, 30 million, like second game, torn Achilles. Now it's Tracy Walker. It's all this money that you're spending on good players and they can't play. So now Juju Hughes is our starting safety. And if he goes down or Elliott goes down, you're to a rookie. You're to Joseph. And so it's just hard to see. It's hard to see Hutch get his 3 sacks and then immediately have a quadriceps issue. And now he's struggling just to walk off the field. And he played in this game and clearly was hurt because he did nothing. Jonah Jackson makes a Pro Bowl, and by game 2, he's hurt. Or after game 1, he's hurt and he can't play anymore. Vaitai and Sewell are like a sweet run mauling mashing side of that line on the right side. Vaitai back surgery, probably out for the year. Amon-Ra St. Brown about to set a record, become the first wide receiver in NFL history to go 9 games with 8 or more catches, but he gets hurt in the 9th game. So he can't do it because he definitely would have gotten there. And then after he's gone, your next best target, at least based on what we've seen so far this year, in Josh Reynolds, friendly fire. He gets hurt. And I don't know the severity of their injuries, but oh my goodness, is it frustrating. So leave the comment. Like, it's not all bad. We didn't expect to be a playoff team this year. get ourselves healthy. I usually hate the bye week so early in the year, but we've got a lot of injuries. So hopefully we can go. We don't have a terribly tough schedule the next couple weeks. We really don't. So maybe we can get a victory next week, even with a large amount of injuries. See what we do against the Patriots, get healthy over the bye week, and then you never know. If we're 2-3 or 3-2, and then we get healthy over the bye week, maybe we make a little run at this thing, win a few games. So there is some stuff to look forward to, but that is for another video, and I will see you on the next one.